Hey, this is Cam from the Brother Slim, and welcome back to another Making It Known, as we're going to read kind of a fun one today. So it's the Enormity Designer Diary number 2. And then also, I don't think I'm going to make a habit of reading these, but the ITU newsletters are pretty cool. They're kind of like more of like a slice of life of introducing some staff and kind of what's going on at the ITU office, which is sweet. But this is kind of a fun look back over their journey and delivery and trials and tribulations of making Aeon Trespass. So thought it might be a fun read with things being on the way. But first things first, what we're here for is the Enormity Design Diary number 2. An enormous world of terror and wonder. And you get a little story to start too. Very cool. A creak of a strained girder, the flickering of artificial light burning out. A hollow clang as something gets loose in a gaping liminal space between superstructures. Old ships are like old houses, creaking, cracking, knocking, drumming, settling, hardly silent. An inhuman wail echoes through its abandoned corridors. Just like old houses, old ships are often haunted too. Cool. Am I able to scroll? Too far. Let's go back up. Imagine you were stranded on a derelict starship light years from home with no way of going back. Imagine exploring the mysterious vessel, deck after decrepit, oppressive deck, and uncovering its disturbing secrets. Imagine it's dark and cold and the air is thin. Imagine you are not alone. Enormity is your ultimate dark science fiction fantasy. It is inspired by the greatest works, by the greats of science fiction literature, cinema, and games, but charts its own course into the unknown. Roll credits. Our games are lauded for being the biggest, most engrossing, and the best written, and Enormity is not going to be an exception. If you ever wanted to feel like an intrepid group of unlikely heroes trying to survive in a dangerous, strange universe, facing unimaginable threats from the technological through the alien to the very eldritch, armed with powerful state-of-the-art weapons, which don't seem so powerful all of a sudden, a floodlight and a jerry-rigged scanner showing ominous blips swelling all around you, Enormity will provide you with that experience and so much more. Yeah, that sounds freaking sweet. It sounds so cool. We spent considerable time realizing Enormity's unique, hard SF setting. When you explore the massive NASF ship, the Shepherd, you will move out through diverse environments, from stylish and squeaky clean sections of the C-suite to the poorly-lit, dirty, and suffocating back-end of engineering, processing, and maintenance, to completely alien biomes, where the intruders have gained a terrible foothold, and where even the laws of physics bow to antinomy. Antinomy. I don't think I've ever said that word out loud before, or read it for that matter. The unfinished spaces stretch out before you like a black gaping wound. How could a starship with structural deficiencies so glaring be allowed to leave the shipyard? And then it occurs to you, as dark and vast as the abyss you find yourself on the precipice of, what if it didn't? What if something tore these hollows later, out there, in the void, where the Shepherd was all these years? Dun, dun, dun. So we've seen this piece of art before from the first diary, or the most recent update. We've seen an equal amount of time designing and streamlining Enormity's mechanics so that they do not get in the way of immersive play. Of your adrenaline-fueled descent into the bowels of the ship and beyond. Ooh, cool. But that they still provide both challenge and depth. So the beyond is interesting. So we saw in a previous little blurb that there are, I think, planets and planetoids and stuff that you can explore too. But just given the eldritch nature, I would be surprised if there's more to it. Maybe some creepy, dark pocket dimensions or something like that. Enormity is a dungeon crawler that unfolds over dozens of interconnected locations, like a true Metroidvania. With hundreds of passages, rooms, secrets, and shortcuts, hundreds of gear and weapons to salvage or craft, with alien ecologies that evolve in real time based on your actions. Cool. Let's talk about those gameplay spaces. Locations of the massive NASF ship, the Shepherd. With Enormity, we wanted to take the dungeon crawling experience to the next level to keep you constantly engaged with the exciting gameplay and emergent story. Oops, too far. I've got a bit of a lag here each time I scroll. In Enormity, there is only one board, that is of the mysterious starship itself. This board is made of unique, handcrafted locations that sprawl into a near infinite maze of interconnected sections, hidden passages, shortcuts, and arenas. Even your downtime, the part of the game where you develop your characters, craft gear, and make startling technological breakthroughs, happens on that very same board, in safe house type locations, and with your actions and opportunities reflected by the equipment provided within. Right there on the board page. Cool. So the vibe I'm getting is kind of ISF Vanguard meets Nemesis meets your traditional Into the Unknown giant amazing narrative combat boss battler kind of vibe. Specifically dungeon crawler with big epic boss battles in it in this case, I believe. So then we've got a little art tease of the board here. Looks pretty cool. So I'm assuming... Oh, cool. I like that. So rather than the giant creeping table hog that is Aeon Trespass and is going to be Kingdoms Forlorn, it might all be contained into a book. Sweet. That sounds awesome. In gameplay terms, we achieve this by using several ring-bound location books that you use in tandem to expand and explore the map in real time. That's right. Whenever you move to your current location's edge, providing there is a door or another tight passage, you will instantly unlock another location, and another, and then another. You are free to explore at your own pace. One note there is ring-bound books. I think that's going to be awesome. I love the kind of quality and appeal of the paperback rulebooks with Aeon Trespass. We are mostly through cycle 1, and pages started to rip out of the first book and actually got a replacement, and they started to rip out of the next one too. Apparently it's a very small issue, but the fact that it's happened to both my books, and I don't think I'm especially hard on rulebooks, but maybe not, I don't know. The ring binder seems like the way to go, and I'm actually getting the ATO rulebooks ring bound as well, I think. The hardcovers look really cool, but I don't think it's worth justifying the cost in my opinion. Okay. Okay. Enormity's locations are not scenario based. You have total freedom of where to go, how to go there, what objectives to set. Your extraction runs are limited only by the growing opposition from the intruders, and your need to rest and expand your power base. Kind of gives me, what was that Warhammer 40k Black Fortress dungeon crawler, kind of like Warhammer Quest kind of vibe. Similar mechanic in there. You can go as long as you want to, basically. In other words, Enormity's board is one giant dungeon crawling map made of dozens upon dozens of sections. That's really cool. Kind of reminds me of like Hexploration or like big epic dungeons in old RPGs. Of course, there are rules that will make sure the gameplay space does not overwhelm you or your table, and that only a few locations remain in play to give it time. Those left behind will hide in a fog of war type veil, but can always be revisited. Well, unless you choose to blow a whole section up to halt an alien onslaught, that is. Fair? In that case, you'll have to look for a detour. ... Ooh, what the heck, Brown? Let's see if we can get this. Oh, we went too far. What a creepy, cool critter, though. That's nasty. Okay, for true immersion, just like your characters, intruders are not bound to their starting locations and can follow you as you venture deeper and deeper into the Space Hog. I'm assuming things will absolutely follow us. Well, I just read that, but it just with the brand of game that it is, there's not much better than being chased by horribly, gribbly space monstrosities, so that makes perfect sense. And what a creepy monstrosity this one is, too. Let's see. We can zoom out a little bit here to get this whole thing in shot. Maybe. Not quite. So I'm doing this in my web browser, just for good old Outlook, and it's extra laggy than usual. So I don't know if there's a better way to do this, because it is just a newsletter, but if anyone knows, let me know, and I'm happy to try and make it a little bit more visually appealing. Okay, so we got this gribbly critter. Ooh, nice kneecaps. And little feetsies, cool. Wet smacking and a low thud as something slithers from an air duct and falls to the floor. Big and bulky like a dog, but oily, shining in the dim light. Nothing so big could have squeezed through that duct, yet it did. It rises on all fours, chirping and hissing. Nothing of old Earth. This enormous expanding and modular experience is made whole by the existence of various transition spaces, like the safe houses you will visit between your dungeon crawling and boss battling, as well as special locations hidden among other game components, and stickers. Stickers will modify how the shepherd looks, opening and closing passages, introducing completely new spaces, new hazards, and new opportunities, all based on your choices to provide you with the ultimate experience of a persistent, evolving world. And don't worry, these are reusable stickers. I was going to comment on that if they weren't. In my opinion, if they weren't reusable, that would be, like, it wouldn't be optimal, but it'd be fine by me. Like, these games are so freaking huge and massive that, in my opinion, there's no time to play them twice. So that'd be right. But obviously for resale value and people that do have more time to be able to play more of these games, awesome. Another cool picture. So, imagine sneaking through an enormous spaceship, weapons in hand, deciding where to go and which sections to avoid. Imagine uncovering a giant, intricate, interconnected map that tells its own story of the purpose, past, and future of the ship. Imagine the ship's layout evolving over time, becoming more overrun by an infestation of an alien life form. Imagine Imagine engaging those intruders in thrilling firefights, nail-biting retreats from overwhelming forces, and daring raids to cleanse nests or shatter the interdimensional hold the outsiders have on our reality. Cool. So once again, kind of eldritch, other space kind of pocket dimension vibe for sure. Oh, here we go. Oh, that is creepy cool art. Awesome. And I haven't even mentioned away missions to alien planets and planes. Okay, there we go, planes. And our immersive fast travel system. Stay tuned. Something enormous is coming. Roll credits once more. Your hurried footsteps echo on the metal floor of the service corridor. That thing, it was almost human. Almost. But stretched. Our rubber suits worn too many times by too large a thing. Stretched impossibly long and thin. Thick cables move in the dark like black snakes. Or... yeah, this is sweet. All this sounds awesome. I love how it's almost like a combination of what they've done with a lot of the Kingdoms Forlorn updates with like little blurb kind of lore stories in between with all the info and pictures. Very cool. Enormity is coming to crowdfunding this winter. This diary marks the first of several we will publish as we get closer to release. Before the game lands, you'll be invited into the dangerous, oppressive world of the Outer Dark. Learn all about the new and unique gameplay mechanics that will shake the dungeon crawler format. Discover the new ICP. See the fantastic art from some of the best artists in the business, like Louis Lasahito, Abra Khan, and Igor Kareluk. Yes, we're doubling down on handicrafted arts. This just copy and paste from before. I love that they're sharing the artists' names because artists are fantastic, and I think a lot of times their names just kind of aren't on the forefront of stuff, and so sweet to be showing them up front. Marvel at the miniatures, watch a trailer, read the rules, and possibly play Dark Side of the Sun demo yourselves. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for supporting our art dreams over the years. Marcin Welnicki, head of Into the Unknown. Super cool. So I've been saying that I'm probably not going to back this. I might change my mind and try and sell something and pick this up and do some sort of solo play with it at some point, but timing is the big thing because, again, there's so many other games to play and there's only so much time with life and other hobby stuff going on too. But one comment that Marcin actually shared, or added to a comment I had on a previous update, that was that this might be the most affordable game of theirs yet. So I wouldn't put too much stock in it being like crazy affordable, because I'm sure there's going to be like expansions and stuff too. But I might pick up just the base game or something and see, because this is a kind of game that I wanted for a long time. I'd originally backed ISS Vanguard thinking it was it, and ultimately ended up stepping away from that pledge because it wasn't quite what I was looking for. This definitely is. So we shall see. We shall see. If you want to start watching now, totally cool. I'm going to scroll up to the very top and just read the little normal newsletter bit, which is kind of like a little summary of ITU's journey from their first campaign to now. So feel free to join for that ride or not, and we'll see you next time. Scrolling up we go. Okay, cool. Sweet. Dear Argonauts, as many of you have guessed, from the theme of this issue, this edition of From the Unknown is dedicated to ATO. At the time of writing, the first shipment of ATO expansions has already landed in the hands of our backers, and we are coming ever closer to the end of this incredible journey. We're full of excitement, nostalgia, and pride as we reflect on everything that has brought us here. The road has been long, but thanks to your unwavering support, we've made it. We would like to take a moment today to look back at how far we've come together. Attention, latest news from Into the Unknown. Okay, this, I think we'll just skip over. It's things that I've covered in recent videos already. As we're close to completing the second printing of Aeon Trespass Odyssey, we can't help but take a moment to reflect on how far we've come. It's been an incredible journey, filled with ups and downs, but above all, your heartfelt support. Let's relive some of the highlights that got us to where we are today. September 9th, 2018, the beginning of Aeon Trespass Odyssey. It all officially started on September 9th, 2018, when the first ATO campaign went live. We couldn't believe it when the project was funded in just 3 minutes. The emotions were intense, the excitement overwhelming, and the campaign became a non-stop rollercoaster of daily unlocks and stretch goals. Every day brought new challenges and new milestones, and Marcin is practically living on Kickstarter, spending close to 24 hours a day interacting with you all, answering questions, and driving the campaign forward. So I think I wasn't around for the first campaign. I kind of got into crowdfunding, I think late 2019 or maybe early 2020, somewhere around there. And so I danced around this game for a while and ultimately backed it as a late pleasure. And through this campaign, through the next, and then basically through every single campaign that they've ran, something's happened in Martin's personal life where he's had to step away during the campaign. So fingers crossed that we'll break that cycle for this upcoming Enormity campaign. But case in point of health, if he's dedicating that much time to supporting the project, like probably something bad's gonna happen. Okay, October 1st, 2018, the end of the campaign, the start of something big. The campaign officially wrapped up on October 1st, 2018, and what a finish it was. We gathered over $1 million in funding. It was a dream come true. Well, we technically made it in the first 3 minutes. Reaching that final milestone was proof of the incredible community that we had formed around us. This was more than just a successful Kickstarter for us. It was the culmination of over 3 years of hard work. From that moment on, we knew that we were going to do everything in our power to deliver the best game possible. Yeah, and so going back to officially being highlighted or bolded there, if I remember correctly, it was 3 or 5 years. Well, it says 3 years, so we'll say 3 years of all the development behind the scenes for the game and getting a whole bunch of the art and assets already. And from the 12 Sins of Heracles and Reprint campaign, Marcin had shared that a whole bunch of the art had been done originally, and that this whole world was something that was already pretty well cooking, shall we say, behind the scenes, which is pretty cool. Okay. Could only imagine the stress of launching that first campaign, though, being like, oh, there's so many more things to come, and it all hinges on this. 2018-2019, the hard work begins. With the campaign behind us, we rolled up our sleeves and got to work. The real challenge had just begun, turning our vision for ATO into a polished, complete game. We spent months refining game design, developing a tabletop simulator, and iterating on both the mechanics and the visual design. We're proud to say that many elements ended up being even better than originally planned. Looking back, it's amazing to see how much certain components changed during that time. Cool, yeah, so we have original gear cards here and a original trauma card, or an old one at least, maybe not original. So one of the big things that kept me away from the game originally when I stumbled upon it was the art. It was really cool and very kind of based in history and such, which is sweet, but it wasn't quite my cup of tea. And so when I was going back and forth and backing the game, I decided, you know what, the mechanics and the story and the writing and all of the narrative in this sound awesome. And I can get over not being absolutely in love with the visual aesthetic of it. And after I backed it, all of the visual updates came in, seeing the updated map tiles and everything too. And I was like, oh man, this looks so freaking gorgeous. So really, really cool to see kind of where they started and innovated from. And then we'll keep going here. I definitely, if there's people watching that didn't check out the original campaign, just scroll through the campaign page and you'll see all kinds of differences. First rulebook cover. Oh wait, this one made prints, which is super fair. Simple and effective for the rulebook. I like it. 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic hits. Just as everything seemed to be running smoothly, 2020 hit, and with it, the COVID-19 pandemic. Like many of you, we were caught off guard. The pandemic threw countless challenges our way. Testing the game remotely wasn't as effective as doing it in person, and working from home presented its own set of difficulties. Morale of the team took hit, not just for us, but for our artists who usually worked remotely. And even though we've always prided ourselves on productivity, a looming global crisis made it harder to keep up the pace. In the spring of 2020, we gathered as much information as possible from our partners. We had to make a tough decision, delaying the game. We pushed back the delivery, not because the game wasn't coming together, but because we needed more time to polish and test everything. The assets were ready, the miniatures sculpted, the illustrations finished, but we had to make sure the final product lived up to the standard we set for ourselves and that you deserved. Yeah, I think they did a great job with the delay. No complaints there at all. 2021, getting back on track. By 2021, despite the ongoing pandemic, we were determined to get back on track. It was definitely one of the hardest years for ITU, but also a period of significant growth and achievement. Each day presented new challenges: rising paper prices, the container crisis hitting us in the summer, and energy rationing affecting factories in the autumn. Remote collaboration remained a struggle. Creativity thrives on direct interactions, and those of us working in the office faced constant uncertainties, including COVID cases that affected our team. Yet, despite these obstacles, our spirits remained unyielding, and we completed the core game. It was a moment of disbelief for all of us, given the immense scale of what we had accomplished. 2021 also marked a year of rapid expansion for us. We welcomed a number of new team members to our core staff and brought on many talented artists, scriptists, UI designers, writers, and editors. This growth allowed us to streamline our procedures, formalize many aspects of our work, and become more efficient and agile than ever before. 2022, the core game is delivered. Finally, in 2022, Aeon Trespass Odyssey was delivered into the hands of backers across the world, and we were flooded by reactions and reviews. Seeing your pictures, the excitement in your comments, and the in-depth reviews was one of the most rewarding experiences for us. We couldn't have asked for a better community to share this moment with. No, warm and fuzzies. And yeah, heck yeah, I think hands down, this game delivering was probably the most excited I've been for a crowdfunding board game. It was just so cool. Okay, May 16th, 2023. The second printing of ATO introduced a new project from the Aeon Trespass world, 12 Sins of Heracles. Once again, your support was overwhelming. The project was funded in minutes, and it was so incredible to see so many familiar faces alongside new supporters. This campaign, like all before it, was full of unpredictable events, but we made it through. Aeon Trespass is a project nearly 10 years in the making, a vision of a campaign game unlike anything you've seen before. It was a tough sell, and a challenge to great, but you made it possible. And now, we'll do it again. Bigger and better. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to be part of the campaign, and myself and my gaming group ended up going in on the all-in Heracles pledge. Very happy to do that with people instead of just financing it myself. But yeah, interesting campaign to follow. I think a lot of it went really well. I think some of the things weren't received too great. Like I was personally critical of the lack of detail on the sculpts. They just kind of showed off like a little bit flat. And it was also weird at the very end because that, generally speaking, crowdfunding campaigns have a huge push in the final day, and this is one of the ones that actually ended up losing a bit of funding, which was interesting. Fall 2024. The finish line is in sight. Now, as we approach the fall of 2024, we're closing to delivering ATO to your doorsteps. We can't wait to hear your thoughts, see your photos, and read your reviews. We're confident you're going to love Cycles 4 and 5 just as much as the core game, if not more. Super stoked when we play them in 2 years from now. To all of you who've been with us since the beginning, thank you. Without your support, none of this would have been possible. You've made this dream a reality, and we couldn't be more grateful. We're excited to continue this incredible journey together with all of you. So here's to the future of Aeon Trespass. We've come so far, but the adventure is far from over. Huzzah! Cool stuff for sure. Well, on that note, thank you for tuning in for this developmental diary of Enormity and this little recap of, I guess, ITU and Aeon Trespass so far. It's been really cool to be part of. And yeah, friggin' Into the Unknown. Good job. Hell yeah. Awesome. See you next time. Bye.